Again, my name is Glory St. Germain from Ultimate Music Theory, and I welcome you to the Teach Music Online with Zoom. So we're going to be using Zoom today. So I'm going to go ahead and do a little intro first of all. So as I said, my name is Glory St. Germain, and my journey started when I was 16 years old. I started teaching when I was 16, and as I progressed as a music educator, I became a Music for Young Children certified teacher, and here I studied early childhood development. I taught music for young children for over 20 years. I had over 500 MYC students, so that's a lot of kids to teach. Here in the picture, you see Francis Velotis on the left. You see International Director Olivia Riddell, and of course myself, Glory St. Germain. Then I realized that I needed to develop really fantastic communication skills. You know, what is the barrier? How can we understand learning styles, visual, auditory, kinesthetic, communication skills? So I started studying neurolinguistic programming with Dr. Wyatt Smallwood, and I became an NLP practitioner. And that led me to massive success in communication. And I'll share a little bit about that with you in a minute. And then I continued my professional development studies and I accomplished my ARCT, which is the Associate Royal Conservatory of Music teacher. And you see my picture here with my mom, Rosabelle is her name. And it was just an awesome time for me. And my mother was always about NEPD. And NEPD is never-ending professional development. And she really gave me that foundation to continue my education always. And I'm here to share some of that with you today. My journey continued and I had success. And some of my success stories are that I began studying and researching how to write books for successful learning. And I became an author and I began teaching Ultimate Music Theory club classes. And I became a publisher. That was a lot of things to learn about. And I became the CEO, of course, of Ultimate Music Theory with international distribution around the world. And we're now available on Amazon, bookdepository.com. Actually, they do free shipping around the world. So I know some of you are here from other countries. So bookdepository.com, just put in the search bar Glory St. Germain, and it will pop up with all of the Ultimate Music Theory workbooks. And we also distribute all around North America and ship to other countries as well. So that's me in the warehouse. It's huge, right? I also created the Ultimate Music Theory certification course for teachers, and many of you are there with me today. So I want to say thank you for that. And yes, music for young children was a big part of my life. I see there's some MYC teachers on here today. And I want to say a thank you to Olivia Riddell for reaching out to our MYC teachers, because we're talking about how to teach private music lessons and how to teach group music lessons online today. So I'm excited to share that with you. And I really have developed this masterclass for you today because I want you to feel fantastic, confident, and successful. So are you ready? Okay, good. You can tell my husband sometimes calls me annoyingly happy. So I like to be happy. So fast forward to today. Well, success number one, Sheila McKibben-Uren and I have written over 50 workbooks together. And that's a lot of books, let me tell you, including our Ultimate Music Theory app, which you can check out at ultimatemusictheoryapp.com. And it's something that is a one-time purchase and you have it for life. There's over 7,000 flashcards in there, and it's for all levels, from the beginning level all the way through to the advanced, including music history. You'll have the audio in there, so it's fantastic. Check it out. The second success tip is teaching UMT club classes. So I have been teaching UMT club classes in my teaching studio, and now I've taken them online, and I'm going to share a lot of fantastic resources that you're going to use forever, not just this week, not just next week, but you're going to have these teaching tools in your little teaching basket right now. So you're going to go, if I want to take a vacation, maybe I could just teach that one or two students that I really need to teach through my Zoom. So this is a tool that you're going to use for a long time. Success number 3, as I mentioned, we've taken our Ultimate Music Theory certification course, which used to be a live event, and we've now taken it online, and I'll share more about that with you at the end of the class today. So I hope that gives you a little bit of a background as to who the heck is Glory St. Germain. So number 1, please grab a piece of paper and a pencil or a pen, because I have a lot of notes for you today, and I don't want you to miss anything. I talk kind of fast, so if you need me to slow down, forget about it. No, I'm just kidding. If you need me to slow down, then maybe you just want to put a little chat in there going, could you repeat that? If you have questions during my presentation, go ahead and enter them in the chat box. And then at the end, if I haven't covered those questions, I'll go ahead and address them. Is that okay? All right, so here we go. Teach music online using Zoom. So these are the 5 things that I'm going to be covering today. All right, so number 1, the only equipment you really need. So I'm going to be talking about that. Number 2, how to set up Zoom for successful teaching. I'm going to give you all the little secrets that I've learned, so that'll save you a lot of time. Teaching private or groups, piano and theory. So what is the best thing to do and what should you not do? I'm going to give you a bunch of little secrets in there. And lesson plan, books, and homework. A lot of you wonder, well, how is all this going to work? For myself personally, I literally went from teaching my students in my studio, saying goodbye, to the next day making the decision that I was going to be teaching online and had to get everything set up. And so they never had a chance to get any books, or I didn't get to have a chance to see the notes that I'd written in their page. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how I can help you with that. And finally, this one may surprise you, how to increase your income. Now, who wants to make more money teaching online in this time, right? And I'm going to share some fantastic resources with you. Plus, one of our Ultimate Music Theory certified teachers who was in our recent coaching call. I do private coaching calls, group coaching calls with our UMTC teachers. And I'm really proud of her because she actually implemented what she learned in the coaching call. This is last week. And boom, she now has more students than she did before. And these are new students that she didn't even have before. So that's pretty cool, right? So now, yes, I want to know how to make more money. Perfect. Stick around. We're going to have some fun, my friend. So now you might ask me, okay, Glory. So here's a common question I hear from teachers. Do I have to do my hair? And do I have to really dress up, or can I just, teach in my pajamas, or this is all new to me? Well, if you use Zoom meeting audio only, guess what? You don't have to do your hair. Just show up with a cup of coffee and you're good to go. Of course, I'm just kidding with you. But if you are teaching Zoom meeting with video, then I do suggest that you kind of do your hair and, put on a pair of shades and things like that. And then you're good to go, right? So we're going to jump right in and get started. Now, first I'm going to switch over and I'm going to take you into my Zoom room, and hopefully this is going to work. I've been making sure. So if you could just, someone give me a quick note to say, yes, Glory, I see the Zoom room. Then I know I've switched my screen correctly. Just give me a little thumbs up. Yes, Glory, I've got the Zoom room. Can you share that with me? Hopefully. Yes, somebody, anybody? Can you see the Zoom room? I can see it. Okay, thank you. Perfect. All right, so here's all of my gigantic tips for you. Okay, you ready? All right, I've got my gigantic thousands of notes. Okay, so here's some tips before I start going through the Zoom. So you might want to write these down. Okay, so the first thing is the only equipment that you need, and here's the really great news, the only equipment that you need is a computer. That's it, the end. Write that down because it's going to go deeper. So the answer is that the only thing that you need is a computer, and it doesn't matter if it's a Mac, it doesn't matter if it's a PC, and some of you like to use an iPad, and that's okay too. The only thing that I would suggest is that if you're using an iPad, you want to make sure that you have access to be typing, okay? Because it's important. We want to be fast at what we're doing, and if you have to, keep doing the texting thing, then that gets a little crazy. Like I said, I've got my notes here because I don't want to miss anything. Now, there's a lot of different platforms that you can be teaching online. Some people are saying, oh, I use FaceTime, or I use Skype, or I use this or I use that. And that's great. And that's great. I'm not saying don't use that. I'm just saying that you definitely, you got the Zoom room. Okay, good. Can't see the Zoom room yet. I can only see Glory profile. Okay, well, hopefully Rocky is in the chat with us today, and he can, and remember that this is going to be recorded so that you can watch it again. Okay. Do you see me here? Profile. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Okay, great. If you see only the profile, that's me in the corner. I'm down here. I'm at the bottom here. So I'm going to be going through this in a second. Okay, that's good. If you can see my profile, that's great. One of the things, and actually, I'm going to just turn off the screen share. Can you see me full screen right now? Okay, I'm going to come back and share the Zoom room with you in a second, but I want you to write these notes down, okay? So number one, the only thing that you need is your computer. You need a laptop or a Mac PC, doesn't matter, little iPad. You need to be hardwired into your internet or high-speed Wi-Fi. Make sure that you've got a secure setting, okay? Remember today, I'm only talking about the Zoom room, right? I'm not talking about using FaceTime or Skype or anything like that. So we're gonna use the KISS method. Keep it super simple. Now, one of the bonuses is that you wanna make sure that you tell your students, because parents might be going, oh my gosh, I don't know how to do this. And you say, well, if you have a PC and your student has a Mac, guess what? It doesn't matter, okay? This is web-based. So that's the great part of using this. If you're a Mac user and your student only has a PC, it doesn't matter. This works on all platforms. Okay, now, I want you to write down the 5 must-have things. So I've got 5 things for you that you definitely need. So number one, good morning. Number one, you need your computer. You only need to use the built-in microphone on your computer, right? And the lights that you have in your house. I'm going to share some of that with you. There's a lot of information out there right now that's almost overwhelmed. So what I encourage you to do is just pick one. And just like your students only have one teacher, right? And they trust you and they believe in you. So I would suggest that you just pick one. Because if you follow too many different things, it's like squirrels and all you're doing is looking at all these, and every shiny object seems like something better than the last person offered you. So just pick one and then put your blinders on and then just go ahead and study it, right? So I'm just giving you one option and then pick one and stick with it. All right, so number one, you need your computer. Now, when we talk about audio, use the audio from your computer. If you happen to have an external microphone, that's great. You can just plug it in. It can be like a USB microphone. I'll show you my little guy here. So this is the one that I'm using today, just because I want to have the best audio possible. The lights that I'm using today, to be honest, I actually just opened the curtains in my little studio here, and I just turned the lights on, and I didn't add any additional lights if I'm producing a number of videos. Then of course I set up my studio. So you don't need to buy anything. All right. So that's number one. You've got everything you need. Number two, you need to have your instrument. So if you're teaching group piano lessons, or if you're teaching one-on-one piano lessons, or if you're teaching guitar or saxophone, whatever your instrument is, you obviously need to have your instrument. Now you can't actually see it, but I usually have my keyboard over on this side. And obviously I've got my my whiteboard here and my theory book. So I'm kind of set up. All right. So you need your instruments and you need your Ultimate Music Theory whiteboard, because then you can demonstrate things if you're talking about theory or want to talk about intervals or something. That's number two. You need your teaching materials. Number three, I kind of covered that. Whatever lights you have, you don't need to buy any extra lights. Just make sure you open the curtains. Oh, an important note here. Make sure that when you are setting up your studio to teach online, that you're not with your back to a window, because the light will kind of overshadow and then you will be in the dark here with your students. I would suggest once you get set up in the Zoom room that you can turn it on and kind of play with it and go, okay, this isn't good. Or you can turn your computer a little to get the best angle. All right, so that's about lighting. And number four, you need your teaching materials. So I have my teaching, well, you can see I have my little books here. I've got my answer book when I'm teaching my my classes. So you need to have your materials handy so you're ready to go. And I'm going to talk more about that later. I'm going to share with you how you can actually just drag and drop things into the Zoom room. It's so easy. You're in a good place today. Number 5. Now, this is the most important thing of all. Are you ready for this? This is like the most important thing. And the most important thing is to bring a positive mindset into teaching online. I'm in so many forums and I see teachers saying, oh, I don't know how to do this. Well, guess what? Your student doesn't know how to play the piano and they don't show up with that attitude. So we need to have a positive mindset, because when you approach this with like, this is going to be fun, you're going to learn so much, let's get started, let's do this together. Guess what? Your students get excited. I taught online all of my students last week, and guess what? They all showed up. They all loved the lesson. They all learned something new, and we had a great time. And it was, them learning online for the first time. So embrace this new opportunity, because I'm excited to share this with you. So now here's the next question. Your students, it could not be more right. Thank you. So what about your students? What do they need? Okay, so I'm going to show you a really cool thing in a minute when we get into the Zoom room. But first, I just want to kind of get a couple of these things out before I forget. So what equipment do your students need? Okay, your students need their laptop. Okay, and if they're on an iPad, that's okay. Again, PC, Mac, doesn't matter. But you need to be on a laptop. I would not suggest using your phone. It's just too tiny. You can't really see. The other thing I want to make sure that I mention right now, just again, because I was doing my research, I'm a researcher. I'm one of those little fanatic researcher people. And as I was going through as many forums as I could, I was looking for pain points and I was looking for what teachers are doing. And a couple of the things that I found was that some teachers, when they open up the Zoom room, as you can see my screen right now, hopefully it's full screen, they kind of had it, just sort of a half a screen and didn't really fill it. Make sure that you click so that your screen is full, so that when your teachers, when your students are seeing you, that they see all of you, right? And I'm going to talk more in detail about that, but just make sure your screen is always full screen. So that's what now your students will need, and this is what I tell them, and I'll be sharing it with you, is that they need to have a little, maybe a TV tray or a little book or a little coffee table, whatever they have, a couple of boxes, so that they can put their laptop beside them. And then you can see them, you can see their keyboard playing. So it would be kind of like at the side, here's my piano, here's me, hello to my teacher, and you can see their hands, and this is how I engage with my students. So that's just a little bit of a setup, and I'll be sharing that. So that's basically all that they need. So is that good? Positive mindset. Thank you for those thumbs up. Now we are going into the Zoom room. I'm excited. So let's see if I can share with you this little thing right here and share. Okay. So hopefully you still see me. I'm at the bottom of the page. Now I'm going to go through a couple of setups with you. All right. So there's two things here. I should be in the bottom of your screen. So hopefully you still see me down here. There's two things. There's a free account and there's a paid account. In the free Zoom account, you will have, and you can actually go here to plans and pricing, and there's some solutions that you can see. Oh, I guess I should be up here. There's solutions here, and then there's some plans and pricing and things like that. In the free account, you can teach one-on-one lessons with unlimited times, although some teachers in the forums, I've heard them say it cut them off after 40 minutes. When you teach more than one student, so if you want to teach a group of 2 or 3 or more, you can only teach them for 40 minutes, and then it kind of cuts you off. So here's my suggestion, and I'm taking you into my personal Zoom room today. This is backstage, as you would have it. When you are going into Zoom, the price of Zoom is $14.99 per month to use this amazing platform. And I am all about supporting businesses that have created an amazing product for us to use. Now, in Ultimate Music Theory, we offer a lot of free resources as well. Just as you, a teacher, you might say, you know what, I'll just do like a little mini lesson with you, 15 minutes. I'm not going to charge you for that. But primarily, you have to be paid. You are in business. You're not going to teach for free. This is your business. This is your livelihood. And I 100% support, purchasing the the Zoom plan, excuse me, for $14.99. You can cancel it at any time, even if you use it for 1 month. Or get the free version. Still only see profile, but you are at the bottom of the screen. That's right, Gloria. That's what you want to see. I'm just right down here. So anyway, the other thing that I wanted to share with you was you definitely need to have some water, which I'm going to take a sip of right now, because you will find yourself talking probably a lot more when you're doing the Zoom. So let's get started. When you go into the Zoom room, you've created your account. Hopefully you're on the either free version or on the, let me just go ahead and click hide here if I can find that. Okay, free version or otherwise. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to click edit. Okay, in here, you are going to go ahead and put in your name, your first name, your last name, your phone number. And then right here, you'll see our phone number. Now, this is our 1-800 number because I, have international teachers that I'm teaching. So I always, offer our international phone number. What department is this? This is the Ultimate Music Theory Teaching Online. What is my job title? I'm the founder, the CEO. My company, Ultimate Music Theory. I'm located in Manitoba, Canada. Yay! This is my personal ID. This is my Zoom link and so on. And that's just my little phone number. And this is my format. Now, one of the things that you definitely want to make sure, and you can see here that the capacity is 100 people at once. And because we have had, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people coming into this webinar today, I'm way, way, way over, obviously 100. So I could not do this in Zoom because we are literally thousands of people. Now, someone Joan just popped in. It's $20 Canadian per month. Thank you for that, Joan. So now it's $20 Canadian, still not a big deal. I mean, you're making that in 20 minutes of teaching. So, and that's for an entire month for all your students. So well worth it. Now, one of the things I wanted to mention here is that make sure that you go into your time zone. I'm going to just click edit here so you can see. So I'm in Central Canada. You can put it into Mountain Time, Alaska, Vancouver, Pacific, whatever time zone you're in. You can also select the date or format. How do you like to see things? I want to see the month, then the date, then the year. So this is my system. I don't want to see 24-hour time. That gets me confused. I just want to see 10 a.m. or 10 p.m. That's the way I do. And then you can click Save Changes, right? And then basically you are set to go. So that's your profile. Oh, and right here, you can go ahead and just upload your picture so that your students will see how it goes. So that's your profile. Okay. Are you good with that? Yes. Little thumbs up. You got the profile figured out. Okay. Next, I'm going to go into meetings. All right. So now here comes the fun part. So here's what I did for you today. I've created a few different scenarios. So first I'm going to show you what they are and why, and then I'm going to show you how to create your own. Okay, would that be all right? Okay, great. Okay, so the first one that I created is this one. I highly recommend that you do this. So this is, and you can see that I set it for Monday, March the 30th at 9 a.m. So I'm going to click on here so that you'll see what is this, Miss Glory. So this says students Intro to Zoom Lessons with Glory St. Germain. So I suggest that you set up one meeting where you invite all of your students. And remember, you can have up to 100 people in here for, if you're doing the free version, up to 40 minutes and longer. This Zoom meeting only needs to be 10 minutes, if that, maybe 15, whatever you decide, so that all your students can come in and they can see each other. They can see where everything works. And I'm going to walk you through a little mini thing with that. Okay. So now this is what I've done. I've created, am I here? Yes. Okay. So I've created a topic, which is my students. Please register for the meeting. I'm going to show you how to do that in a second. I'm telling them what I want them to have. I want them to have their laptop, their instrument, and so on. And then you can see the date, you can see the time, and so on. Now, for me personally, once I create this, I add it to my Google Calendar. The great thing about this, do you need a camera with Zoom so students see the teacher? No. You will see, just as you see me on camera right now, your students will see you. I'm going to be getting to that, so I will be answering that question. Okay, so right now, we're going to click on Google Calendar. So I'm going to be adding that to my calendar. And this happens for me, and you can set it up automatically. Okay. The next one is meeting password. Now, for me personally, I don't use a password ever. It's just not necessary. It's if you're, doing something that's really secretive that you don't want anyone to know about, perhaps you want a password, but I don't use a meeting password. It's just like one more thing to do and one more thing to find. So here's the great thing. It says people are required to register before joining this meeting. Okay, so now for this particular one, I have asked people to register. Now, the reason I want them to register is because I want to see how many of my students are going to be coming into that meeting with me on Monday, or how many parents actually did that. So you have two choices here. You can scoop up all this information right here and just paste that into an email, or you can click on copy the invitation, and then you just click on copy meeting invitation, and then you can go into your email and simply paste it into an email and send it to all of your teachers or all of your students. Sorry, I teach a lot of teachers, so I keep using the word teachers. So you can send that to all of your students, and I'm going to show you what this looks like. Now, I'm continuing with my setup before I show you what that looks like. So now the video is on, okay, because that's how I've set up my meeting. The participant video is on. That means that when I go into the Zoom room, you're going to see me. And when my students come into the Zoom room, they're going to see me as well. Okay. So now in the next one, I'm going to have meeting options. Do I want any of this? And you can see that here I've checked off mute participants upon entry. Now, the reason I want to mute all of the students and parents coming in is because I've invited all my students. So if you have 20 students, or if you have 50 students and you want to invite them all to this orientation meeting, you don't want everybody talking all at the same time and the kids playing in the background, the dogs barking and all that crazy stuff. So mute everyone when they come in so they can see you and you can see them, and you can even wave. And just as I'm recognizing Sheila, don't panic. Yes, I'm going to be repeating a lot of my things. Thanks for that. We're here together. And remember, I'm just doing my presentation. Then I'm going to come back and answer anything that perhaps I've missed. So now I want to mute my participants upon entry so that I can get through it, right? This is just my setup. You can see I can save this as a template, which I have. I'm going to be getting into that in a minute. And right now you can see registrations are 0. That means no one has registered for this meeting. Okay, well then, I guess none of my students have seen it yet. So now I'm going to show you what does that look like. So now I'm going to hop over to my other screen. I just have this here for you. Let me know if you can see this screen, please. Sheila, I know you're here with me. Can you see this? So here's what I've created. I've put branding up here. I'm going to show you how to do this, so don't panic. So for example, right here, it says Ultimate Music Theory meeting registration. This means that you have to register for this Zoom meeting. The next one I'm going to show you, you don't have to register, but for this one, you do. Okay, thanks, Peggy and Cheryl. Okay, so now the topic is Students' Intro to Zoom Lessons with Glory St. Germain. And I've even put my little picture in there so they go, oh, there's Miss Glory and there's one of my students. The description is, please register for this meeting. Intro to Zoom Lessons. I will walk you through how to set up your room for music lessons using Zoom. So now they're like, oh, okay, I'm all relaxed. I've got this. This is what I want them to be prepared with. Have your laptop or your tablet beside your instrument. You may need a TV tray, a small table or a box, your music, your notebook. This is not a music lesson, all right? I'm not teaching you anything here. This is a Zoom meeting orientation. See you in the Zoom room. And here's the time, March the 30th, which is Monday at 9 a.m. Central Time. Okay, so that's it. So now, because you're with me here, I'm actually going to register myself. So I'm going to call myself Sherry. And then I'm going to go over to last name and I'll just put St. G. And then I'm going to tab over to email and I'll put info at, you can't register for your own meeting, by the way, ultimatemusictheory.com. And I'm going to confirm info at ultimatemusictheory.com. .com. Okay, so I've filled in all the information, and then it says I'm not a robot, which I'm not. Info. Did I spell that wrong? That could happen. Maybe I had a space at the beginning. Info at, oh, I guess I didn't spell it right. Info at, it's hard for me to see here. Ultimate info at ultimatemusictheory.com. Info at ultimate, oh, musictheory.com. There we go. All right. So now I'm going to register. Yay, I'm registered. All right. So now it gives you the registration page. So you're like, yay, I'm registered. So now you can see, you can add it to your calendar. This is now me, the student. I can add it to my calendar. I've got my little link here. When you add it to your calendar, it actually puts this link directly in their calendar. Or you can just copy it and paste it or put it somewhere else. So now I'm registered. So now let's go back and see, did that work? So now I'm going to go to my profile. I'm going to come back here into my meetings because we're going to go check out my meetings. And now I just want to know, so I'm going to go into my Zoom lessons. I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to see, did anybody register? Did they? Yes, yay, I have one person registered. Now, the other thing you can do is you can view it. So you want to know, well, how many of my parents are coming? And there it is, Sherry St. G, info at Ultimate Music Theory. Perfect. So this is awesome. Now I know my student got the information, she registered, I'm going to see her. All right, so everybody, so far so good? So now I'm going to go back into my meetings. Now we're going to talk about, so that's how you register someone for a group registration. All right. Now you're going to see that I did not want this to be reoccurring. I just wanted it one time, and I can go ahead and use my template to create that again, and I'll be sharing that with you in a minute. So that's what's happening for me Monday morning. Now, when I come into the Zoom room, what happens for me is that everything is already mapped out for me in order, which I really, really love. So Monday morning at 9 a.m., I've got the Zoom with Glory. So I know this is my orientation. Now, when I'm setting up every one of my students, and this is me, and I'm going to show you how to do this, you'll see that I've got Theory Club Class Basic Monday 4 to 5. Now, I've named it that so that I don't have to go anywhere and go, is registration form on Zoom or a website? Tracy, the registration form is a link that's just on through Zoom, right? So you don't have to create, you don't need a website to do this. No website. Don't worry about that. You just send them that link and they share with it. So here's students. Now, on Monday at 4 p.m., I'm teaching a Theory Club class from 4 till 5. Now, I'm going to take you inside and I'm going to show you the setup. My Theory Club class is a basic class. So whether you're teaching group piano or whether you're teaching music for young children classes, or if you're teaching, Tauber Music is a huge music school and they teach group lessons as well. I want to welcome Kevin. I think he's on the call with me today. He runs all of Tauber Music School. I think they've got, thousands and thousands of students in their program. And so now they're also saying, well, oh my goodness, we're going to have to go online teaching as well. So whatever you are teaching, if you are teaching little ones, I want to share this with you. So this is what I do with my little ones. So here is my basic Theory Club class from 4 to 5 on Monday. All right. So Theory Club class, I've left them a little note. Bring your basic rudiments workbook and your notebook for class. Remember, you need your pencil, eraser, and ruler. So this is the note that they will get. I have scheduled this for Monday. And I've scheduled for every week. So now once you set your time, if you decide that, you know what, I'm just going to schedule, I've just done this for demonstration purposes every week, every Monday, and it says there's only 2 occurrences. So I've just kind of mapped this out. I'm going to add to it in a minute so I can show you. Again, I never require a password. This is the invite. Now you'll notice that in this link, I'm going to see if I can blow my page up a little bit. I'm here. No, let me go the other way. Too much. Oops, sorry. Bear with me. No, too much. Is that okay? Hopefully that's okay. All right. So what I wanted to share with you is that when you share the Zoom link right here, and again, we're kind of limited with what you can all see. Don't know if I can move it over a bit, but I'll try one more time, just a little bigger. Okay, when you share this link right here, remember I'm live with you, right? This is like, I'm just going through everything here. Okay, when you share this link, you'll notice that there's a J in here. The J means join. Okay, the J means join. When you had the other link that I shared with you, it said register, right? And the one link, and we'll be talking about that in a minute, that you never want to share is your login, your personal login. So when it has the J, that means join. So now you can do two things again. Just grab this URL, put it in an email, send it to your student, the end. They click on there, they come into the Zoom room. They do not need to register for this one. Or you can click on copy the invitation and then send it. Now I want you to take a look at this. In here, my video host is on, my participant is on. I've enabled I don't bother checking any of these, but you'll notice because I'm teaching little kids, you remember, I'm just going through different scenarios here. So when I am teaching a group of young students, I want to mute them because otherwise, again, dogs barking and everything else going on. And even if there's only 5 kids in the group class, I still mute them so that I can start talking and they can hear me speaking. So if you are teaching a piano group lesson, you can do this. You can say, okay, guys, hi and welcome. So excited you're here. Remember, I'm just in the corner here, but you will be full screen when you're teaching them. I will say, turn over in your books to page, whatever it might be. Turn over to page 84. At the top of page 84, we're going to be playing, and I would actually be showing them the music. We're going to be playing this little melody together. So get your books up on the keyboard. And remember, you can see all your students. Get your books up on your keyboard. You can see them. And get your hands in the ready position. Okay, where is your right hand? Which is your right hand? Show me finger 1. Yay, finger 1. All right, where are you putting your right hand? Finger 1 on middle C. Okay, can you play middle C for me? And then you're going to play it with them because remember, they can hear you. So now I would say, all right, we're going to play this together today. So is everybody ready? I can see you're all at your keyboards. You're in the ready position, and I'm going to count you in. Are you ready? 1, 2, ready, play. C, C, C note, D, D, and so on, right? So you're playing with them. So perhaps before when you were teaching group, you might have been clapping the rhythm, but now you want to play with them because you don't want all these keyboards going off. Remember, at home, you're dealing with students that are on keyboards. You're dealing with students that have pianos that are out of tune. You're dealing with keyboards, students that maybe have, a beautiful piano that's perfectly in tune, all of these different things. So when you're teaching in groups, I would suggest muting your students when they come into the room. And remember, you can always unmute them. It doesn't mean they're muted for the whole time. You can unmute them and say, you know what, let's just have Sheila. Sheila, can you just play your solo for us? And then I'll just unmute Sheila. I can put her full screen. So now everyone can hear Sheila play and we can all applaud her and things like that. So now I'm going to go a question, delayed sound always happen? No. Here's the great thing about doing a Zoom is that it's real-time sound. When I am doing a webinar, there is more of a sort of a 2-second delay. I'm speaking right now, and then you're going to hear me in a couple of seconds, right? So when you're doing Zoom, it's just like you and I are on the phone together. So there's no delay. That's the great thing about it. I'm hearing my students play in real time. So how do you unmute? Okay. So many questions. We're going to get to that one. But every student, 2 things. Every student has control to take themselves off of video and to unmute themselves. And as the teacher, you only have the ability to unmute them and remove their video, but you can't put them on video. So for example, if, a mom comes to the lesson and has had a bad hair day or one of your adult students says, okay, I'm just going to be playing today. I don't want to be on camera today for whatever reason. They can take their camera off and leave their audio on. You can mute their audio and you can remove their video, but you cannot turn their video on. That's a privacy. So I think that's a great feature, right? Because if I'm doing a Zoom meeting and maybe I'm, working in my pajamas, I don't want someone turning my camera on without my permission. So every student has the ability to turn on their own camera or turn it off, and they can also mute and unmute. But as the host, you can mute everyone, right? And you can also remove their video. So you just can't turn it on. Hopefully that made sense. I have lag on Zoom and student sounds like a tiny pub piano. Well, we're going to talk about some of those other things. Sometimes, and remember this too, that it's why we talked about, tech issues. Number one, make sure you're hardwired in. I'm hardwired in to my computer right now because I want the best possible tech stuff that I can get. Encourage if you have, or if your student has hardwire, make sure that they use that. So, and we're doing the best that we can with what we have, right? So I'm just going to keep going here. Okay, so hopefully that gives you some ideas. Now, if you want to, you can save this as a meeting template, right? Because you might want to create more lessons like this. So now I'm actually going to go ahead and start a meeting from scratch. So I'm going to go to my meetings, right? And actually, I'm going to show you one more before I go into my meetings. So I talked about two things so far. Having an introduction where you invite all of your students and all the parents, and you put everyone on mute, and you just want to introduce the concepts, right? And I go through this in more detail in our Ultimate Music Theory certification course. We've got coaching calls that are group coaching calls exclusively for UMTC teachers, and I'll tell you how you can jump into that if you're interested in learning more. So this is just an overview today. So that's number one. That's what you need to do. Number two, I talked about my theory club class, my little ones, that I don't want them coming in there with sound. Now I'm going to jump into the third template that I've created for my students. And this one also is, and remember in my meetings here, I've put my topic in to make it easy for me, right? Intermediate, Monday, 5 to 6. This is what I want them to come in with. I want them to come in with their intermediate rudiments workbook. I want them to show up with their level 6 supplemental workbook. I'm talking and reading right here if you're following with me. They need their pencil, their eraser, and their ruler. If you don't tell them what to bring, they won't bring it, and that will waste lesson time. So be very specific. Yes, they need a pencil. Yes, they need an eraser, and yes, they need a ruler. And if you're reading my little thing, I've added PS, bring a joke to share with the class. Now, sometimes what I do is I give special stickers or something fun if they've actually read the notes. So then I might say, okay, Mary, let me, you read your assignment, you read your homework. Yes, I did, Miss Glory. Okay, tell me your joke. And then Mary might say, what do you mean joke? And I'll say, well, didn't you read your homework? And she'll say, maybe. So I'm going to give you a joke right now. Are you ready? Okay. What was Beethoven's favorite fruit? What was Beethoven's favorite fruit? I'll wait to see if anyone knows the answer, and I will share it with you in a little while. So you got to stay tuned to hear the answer, and then you can share that one with your students, right? Okay, so in the intermediate class, yes, what was Beethoven's beats? Okay, that is funny. I haven't heard beats before, but I actually really like that. Ba-na-na-na. That is the answer that I always use, but I like beats. That was cute. Ba-na-na-na. So now we're in the intermediate level. So now you can see me scrolling down. So I did something different with my intermediate class. With my intermediate class, you will see that they are not muted upon entry. And it's because these students already know when you come into the classroom, come in and be quiet. They have their music ready, they have their theory books ready, and they're a little bit older, and we work together as a group. And also because they all know and love each other. So when they come into the group, they might say, pom, 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 French. Thanks, Joan. I'm kind of reading the comments about my little joke with Beethoven. When my students come into the Zoom room, they might say, oh, hi, Joan. And one might say, oh, hi, Bonnie. And so they can talk to each other for a second. I'll say, how you guys doing today? And they'll go, yeah, I'm great. Everything's super. So it's just like a little community. And, I've got maybe 5 or 6 kids in my theory club class. So I give them a second to say hi and, share their day. And then I say, okay, guys, let's get to work. So then I'm going to ask questions, and I'll say, what's the time signature if you have 4 beats in a bar? And so someone might say, 4/4 time, right? So they'll put up a hand or they'll just answer the question. So they're really engaged as a group. So that's my group. Now I'm going to go into scheduling some private lessons. So I'm going to come back into my meetings. So hopefully you're following along so far. Now you're seeing that these are, say, reoccurring. So I've talked through how to set up the Zoom when you want to invite a whole pile of people, right? Make sure they register, right? And remember, I showed you the registration page, which was here. I guess if I go back one, maybe it would come back into, okay, so this is just setting it up again. So that was the setup page. So now, by the way, if I'm setting up for Zoom meetings with my Ultimate Music Theory certified teachers, and we have group coaching calls through Zoom, so they're used to that. This would be my registration. This is for one of the coaching calls that we've got coming up. Let me see if I can refresh this page here. There we go. So you can see that this registration in the Zoom room here, oh, there we go. This one has my student's picture in it because this is my teaching, right? When I come into the registration for here, I might leave my social icons in here. You can do that if you want to. I've got my logo here. I may put a different picture in there. Like, these are 2 separate things. So if you are a music school that has like multiple teachers, or if you want to set this up for teaching groups and different things, you can put your banner up here. And you can put your picture here or your company banner, whatever you like. And each Zoom can be different. And I'm going to show you how to do that in a little bit. Okay, so now I'm just going to come back to my Zoom meetings. So now I'm going to go into, that's only, and those are branding is only when you're setting up a registration, right? It's not going to be like that if you're just inviting people. Okay, so let's go into Tuesday. We got through Monday and now we're going into Tuesday. So in Tuesday, now this is a really fun thing, and this is how I taught all of my students just last week. I've got 3 private students that I teach on Tuesday. I've got Sarah, who comes at 5. I've got Kelly, who comes at 6, and I've got Bob, who comes at 7. Okay, so now I just want them to come in and out of my teaching studio. You have 2 options. You can set up a separate link for each student, which I'm going to show you in a minute, or you can set up one link that's going to be your, your private teaching studio where your students can come in and come out and come in and come out. And for me, this is super easy. So here's how it works. My topic is piano lessons Tuesday, Sarah 5, Kelly 6, Bob 7. That's just so that I can see it easy, right? And then the description is piano lessons, Sarah. And again, I put their time. And then I have a note for them. It says, please arrive on time, no more than 2 minutes early. So don't show up 20 minutes early because you will be interrupting my lesson. 2 minutes. That's all you need. Just click 2 minutes. Have all your music books ready. And they're like, good to go. Now I'm speaking from experience that when you give your students accurate information on how to get set up and how to log in, they listen, right? It might be, and that's why you have that orientation introduction at the beginning, right? So now they're in. So here's how it happens. I set up my Zoom room. I've given them the information. Now this right here, remember, it has the J in it. So I'm going to scoop this up and just throw it in an email and say to my students, register. Or again, copy the invitation, copy the meeting, open up your email, CC all 3 parents. You can blind CC them if you don't want to share their email with me. My parents don't care. I just put everybody's email in there or blind CC, either way, and then paste this invitation. You don't even need to write them a letter. They can clearly see everything that you've had in here. So all you do is put it in there and you're done. The video host is on. That's me. The participant host is on. That's my students. I didn't need to do any of this. Now, I want to address one thing here. When your students come in to the lesson, So remember that I've got 3 students coming in. First is Sarah. She arrives at 5 o'clock. We have our piano lesson. We do our little bit of theory because she's doing private theory and piano in 1 hour. And then at about 2 minutes to, who's coming in next? Sarah, then was Kelly. Okay, Kelly pops in and says, hi, Sarah. Sarah says, hi, Kelly, how are you? Just the same as when you're teaching at home or in your studio. One student comes in the door and the other one leaves. So they get a chance to say, hi, how are you doing? It's just a 30 seconds, and one leaves and the other one comes in. So they see each other, they can say hi, and it's great because we, that's really social distancing, right? We want to make sure that we still can have our little friend that we can see for a minute. And then Kelly has her lesson, and then at 2 minutes to, Bob pops in and says hi to Kelly. Kelly says hi to Bob, and then Kelly leaves, and so on. Now I want to give you, when the next student joins the room, do they see the end of the current student's lesson? Yes, Kevin, they do. So as I'm teaching the end, I might just be assigning the homework, or, kind of wrapping up the lesson. Usually the last couple of minutes, we might be playing a game. We might be just making sure that they know exactly what they need to be doing in the lesson, but you can see and hear each other. So if you came halfway through the lesson, then I can see you're in there, and I can do one of 2 things. I can either say to you, hey, you're too early, please come back at 7, and then you'll leave, or I can literally just kick you out of the meeting. So, and say, come back later, and click you out. Or I can, or you can sit there if you want to, especially if you're, logging in 5 minutes early. Well, then you're just I can mute you, and it's no big deal. Normally, if you're in my studio, you're listening to the last 5 minutes of that student's lesson anyway. It's not, it's not a super secret. So that I hope that answers your question. Andy, yes, the meeting IDs are generated automatically, so you don't need to create any of that. All right, so now we've started this, and we've added that. I wanted to show you one more thing, and that is where it says record the meeting. Now, here's the thing that I suggest, and remember that today I'm just giving you my KISS method. I can't believe it's at the top of the hour already. I have so many more things to share with you. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'll just finish this up. Then I've got a couple of more things to share with you. And then I have even more stuff to share with you. So now, so hopefully you're going to hang around for a little while. Okay. What I suggest is that you do not record the meeting. You do not record the lesson. Number one, now you have to store the lesson. And if you think about it, how many times do you videotape an entire lesson and then use that to teach your student or email it to them? Like it's just too much stuff. My student comes in, I teach the lesson, you write down your notes, goodbye, I see you next week. So you do not need to record the lesson. If you choose to, you have 2 options. If you think at the last minute, you know what, I want to record you playing. That was so great. I just want to record that little part. You can click record and you can just do that little part. So that kind of gives you an idea. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start from scratch. So we talked about your profile. Just doing a quick review here, how to set up all of your information here. So your student has everything, your time zone, your format, and everything else. So that's you. Now we're going to go into meetings, and this is just me doing brand new, never did this before. I'm going to schedule a new meeting. Okay, so now I have 2 options. I'm going to do this from scratch. And this meeting is going to be called First Piano Lesson. So that's what I'm calling it, just so that we'll find it easily. So my first piano lesson with Miss Glory. Okay. Oopsie, sorry. Too many S's. Miss Glory. Now, when I click here, I can do 2 things. I can either select a template because I have all these templates created already. This is my Ultimate Music Theory Certified Teachers Coaching calls and so on, or students. So for right now, I'm not going to use a template because I'm starting this off as if you would. You don't have any templates to start with. I'm going to schedule this particular lesson, and I'm going to schedule it for, I'll make it for Saturday morning. And I'm going to teach this one at 11 o'clock in the morning. And remember, you might want to be teaching all day long now, right? Because your students are probably not in school. So I'm going to go at 1 o'clock in the morning, and you can set your time. I teach everyone for an hour. Automatically, because I set up my profile, it automatically puts it in Central Time. I'm just going to teach this once, or actually I'll put reoccurring just so you can see what it looks like. This is obviously not daily, so I'm going to have this reoccurring weekly. This is going to be for my Saturday morning student, and you can see here I've checked off Saturday. You could check off every single day if you want to. I'm going to have this, and it says by end date or after how many occurrences. So I'm going to say this is going to, I'm only going to have them come Saturday for 2 weeks, and you can always go in here and change it and add more if you want to. Registration, nope, not required. Password, nope, not required. Now here you have an option. Do you want your video on? Yes. Do you want the participant, meaning your student video on? Yes. Do you want both audios available? Yes, always click both. Do you want to enable all of this, any of this? No, just don't check anything. Now I'm just giving you the easy part, right? Now I'm going to go save. So you now have created your very first lesson. Congratulations. So now you can simply grab, remember there's the little J, you grab this or a copy and you email that to your students. Now it says save as template. And now I'm going to have more students that it's going to be their first lesson. So I'm going to go save this first piano lesson, and you can save the reoccurrence, but I'm not going to save the reoccurrence. I'm going to use that as a template. Okay, so now I've created a template. So now what I want to do is I wanted to say, oh my goodness, what if I can't remember the name of that student? So I'm going to go back into my meetings. There's my first piano lesson. I'm going to click here. And now I'm going to go down to the bottom. Going down to the bottom, I'm going to go edit this meeting. So for all the occurrences, and I'm going to say for all because she's going to come two times. Remember, we set it up. So this is first piano lesson. First lesson. I'm here. First piano lesson, and then I'll put, this was Saturday, right? It's Saturday, 11 a.m. and I'll put Julie. So she's going to be my student. So now I'm going to just go click. The only thing I wanted to do was click update, right? So now I'm going to go down here and I'm going to go save. Okay, so it didn't save this as a template. That's just so if you go and look at your templates, you still have your first piano lesson, but now I've got with Julie. And that's just so I know who's coming. So hopefully this has got you started. I just want to make sure that we're not going, on and on and on for too long. So I want to share a couple of opportunities with you right now. I kind of left you with the little doggy here, and I want to give you a few more. Lost you. What? Oh no. Reconnect. Can you let me know you're still there? Reconnect, please. Oh. Click reconnect. Got it? Okay, great. All right. So I want to give you a few more. We talked about Zoom only and with video only. I've just got a few things that, thanks. Great. I want to give you a couple of options here, and then I'm going to come back on. Like I said, I'm here for you today, so I just want to make sure that I don't miss anything because I've got so many notes here for you today. Okay, so what I wanted to share with you is this, all techie stuff. I think the big thing is that you just want to remember, remain calm when you're doing all of this stuff, right? Okay, so piano theory games, ultimate music theory app, sight reading and ear training, and a whole bunch more. Can you do all of this online? And the answer is yes. You can be doing games with your students. They can get their own small whiteboard. I use my big whiteboard. You see it behind me right here. And they can be playing games, and you can be doing it with them on the whiteboard. That's like a whole nother lesson. They can also grab their ultimate music theory games. Now, I think Joanne Barker is on the Zoom call with us, or on the webinar today. And I wanted to say, thanks to Joanne Barker. Not only is she an ultimate music theory certified teacher, which is how she came on board with UMT, but she's also our game creator, and she also takes care of our social media. So you've probably seen Joanne Barker, through various Facebook groups and talking about ultimate music theory and giving you links and things that you need and free resources. So hopefully you've got all of that. Yes, suddenly turned into cute dogs. That's right. I'm back here. I'm glad you like my dogs. Next is our, oh, there's Joanne right now. So Joanne Barker, you see her here. That's me, of course, on the left, and Joanne's in the middle, and Sheila McKibben-Uren is on the right. So hopefully you can see her as well. We really love the Ultimate Music Theory app. If you're not using it yet with your students, here's the amazing thing about it, is that the Ultimate Music Theory app is web-based, which means that if you don't have an iPhone or if you don't have a Mac product, don't think that, oh, I have to have that. No, you can use it on your PC, on your Android phone, on your any of your devices. So it's an amazing, amazing app. It's a one-time purchase. It's not a monthly reoccurring thing. You buy it once. It's $29.99, I think. And so for $29, you've got lifetime access to this amazing product, and you can use it, and your students will progress as they go through. So just another little tip for you, ultimatemusictheoryapp.com. That's where you get it. All right, what's next? Why learn how to teach online? Okay, I have got a little bit of... To learn more about the Ultimate Music Theory program and to download your free teacher's guide, go to ultimatemusictheory.com. Teach with passion.